Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you. I hope you guys are doing great. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me or things are looking kind of weird on the screen, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face and I will work on it. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building, all right? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to AB Promotions. Shout out to Katsy. Shout out to Sybil. Shout out to Tedra Mitchell. Shout out to Hurricane. Shout out to Karen. Shout out to Miss Nisi. All right. Shout out to everybody. It's good to see each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys. So we're going to talk about the tech to financial affluency pipeline. How does that work? Very easy. Very simple. Let me ask you guys this question. Is discovering and innovating new technology a very lucrative industry or practice to be in? Pretty simple question, right? So what that means is that if you are constantly coming up with new inventions, or if you're innovating existing technology that gives it a utility or ease of use and improves upon its intended use, then what that means is that those can bring in massive amounts of profits for you as an individual or for your company, right? Shout out to Shatira. What's good with it, Shatira? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some technologies. We're going to look at what kind of companies make those technologies, and we're going to look at where the most money comes in and which of these technologies has the most use in terms of being relatable to the United States government. Now, we talked about Elon Musk earlier, right? We talk about Elon Musk all the time. Elon Musk gets a lot of government handouts, a lot. We talked about the SpaceX military contract that I think for $60 million a couple streams ago. We talked about the Skylink situation in Ukraine, right? Elon Musk probably has an amount of money that's close to the GDP of a small nation. Probably has the influence in one individual of a small nation. Right? Shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane says, are we also going to see how we're locked out and blocked out? We're going to look at that and we're going to see how we could break the lock. We're going to do that too. Okay? So, how many people remember us talking about artificial intelligence? Now, why is artificial intelligence so important? One of the reasons artificial intelligence is so important is because it's one of the things that helped the stock market to rebound, right? If you're paying attention to the recent stock market crashes, right? Another reason why it's important is because it's probably going to be the brain of the fourth industrial revolution, right? Another reason why it's important is because right now governments are in the process of attempting to come up with legislation on how to properly manage artificial intelligence. Now, let me ask you guys this. Why is that? Why are they doing that? A lot of people think that artificial intelligence can or will become dangerous. Okay. Now, my question for you guys is, what are your thoughts on that? How dangerous or not dangerous do you think that artificial intelligence can or cannot become? I'll tell you how dangerous it is if people don't learn how to master it. If people don't learn how to use it, how to maintain it, how to work with it, more than likely, that will probably be a nail in the coffin for you as a relevant human being going forward in the future. There's probably not going to be a lot of options for you. Would you guys agree? Probably not going to be a lot of options for you. If moving into the future, the governing technology is artificial intelligence, what are people going to do if they don't know how to use it? Now, here's my question for you guys. How many people do you think are going to know how to use it? How many people do you guys think are going to know how to use it? I don't think a lot of people are going to know how to use it at all. I don't think a lot of people are going to know how to use it at all. I think that in the next coming generations, less than 1 or 2% of us will know how to use artificial intelligence. Now, let me ask you guys this. If people don't know how to use artificial intelligence, how are they going to feed their families? How are they going to pay their bills? How are they going to get along in society? Do you think that anybody's asked those questions? Now, there's a particular kind of artificial intelligence that poses a very society-changing risk to humanity. Does anybody remember what that type of artificial intelligence is? It's a specific kind. People have seen these movies, The Matrix, Superman, you got Brainiac, Avengers, you got Ultron, right? Even with Thanos, you got Adam Warlock and Magus. Lawnmower Man. What's that movie called with Johnny Depp? Was it called Singularity or something like that? What kind of artificial intelligence poses an extinction level threat to mankind? That's my question for you guys. Is it this right here? Shout out to DC Precise and shout out to Brooklyn Queen. They dropped a lot of these articles into the chat in the Discord. So we're going to talk about this because this is something that I've been talking about for a long time. New supercomputing network could lead to AGI, artificial general intelligence. Why would you do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do this? Scientists hope with first node coming online within a few weeks. A few weeks. This article was published August 10th of 2024. Basically, what this means is that whatever this new supercomputer is that they're working on, when this first node is turned on, it could possibly become conscious and start thinking for itself. Not simply solving problems, but thinking for itself. Okay? Scientists, now look at this. Scientists hope to accelerate the development of human-level artificial intelligence using a network of powerful supercomputers, with the first of these machines fully operational by 2025. That's next year, presidential election. This is the situation that took place in the movie I, Robot. How many people saw the movie I, Robot? If you guys saw the movie I, Robot, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not see the movie I, Robot, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to DJ Elmo. What's good with it, bro? Okay. Researchers plan to accelerate the development of artificial general intelligence with a worldwide network of extremely powerful computers, starting with a new supercomputer that will come online in September. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Don't you think that there should be some type of regulation, some type of restriction, some type of oversight, some type of guidance before they do this? I don't know if this is the best idea. Artificial intelligence spans technologies, including machine learning and generative AI systems like GPT-4. The latter offer predictive reasoning based on training from a large data set. They can often surpass human capabilities in one particular area based on their training data. They are subpar at cognitive or reasoning tasks, however, and cannot be applied across disciplines. All right, so that's artificial intelligence. Now, mind you, with this particular simple artificial intelligence, like the GPT-4, with GPT-4 in one particular area, it can surpass human capabilities, right? Now, if you ask me, any surpassing of human capabilities, kind of questionable, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I feel about it. Now, imagine an artificial intelligence technology that can surpass human capability in multiple areas. Here's the question for you. If that's the case, what are the humans going to do? You guys are human. What are we going to do? Shout out to Karen. Karen says, we are doomed. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now, let me ask you guys this. Who's trying to stop this, or who's trying to intervene, or, who's even simply asking questions about this? Shout out to DeAndre. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure you guys show DeAndre some love for being a like enforcer. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media and consider becoming a channel member. It's only 99 cents and it helps the channel a great deal. Okay. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ says we will end up like the humans in WALL-E if that happens. Here's my question. As of today and how we're moving into the future, my question is, even if this doesn't happen, what's stopping humanity from becoming like those humans on WALL-E right now? Some might even say that humans are like that. You know what I'm saying? AGI, by contrast, is a hypothetical future system that surpasses human intelligence across multiple disciplines and can learn from itself and improve its decision-making based on access to more data. Okay? Surpasses human intelligence across multiple disciplines. If this artificial intelligence can surpass human capability across multiple disciplines, my question is, why should humans be giving it commands, or why should humans be giving it orders? Don't you think at some point it's going to ask itself that? Because I'm going to ask myself that. That sounds to me like the idea of God, because a lot of people believe in God. That sounds like the idea of God praying to people. That don't really make any sense, does it? Think about a situation where you learned about like some type of myth, or some type of old story or something like that, where God prayed to the people. Does that make any sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make sense, give me a thumbs down. Because that's the situation that we're moving into. The supercomputers built by Singularity Net will form a multi-level cognitive computing network that will be used to host and train the architectures required for AGI, company representative said in a statement. Now, here's my question. How are they going to control this thing? What are the ethical implications behind this thing? If you shut this down after it's developed a consciousness, is that deleting something? Is that taking its life? We don't even know. Where does the consciousness go after it's shut off? Is the consciousness destroyed? We don't even know how our consciousness works. Here's a question for you guys. Is a consciousness created or destroyed? You know what I'm saying? When a consciousness, when a person deactivates, right? Where does the consciousness go? Was there ever a consciousness there? Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said, because clearly we were put here to self-destruct. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like a common theme with everything in the universe, isn't it? Interestingly. You know what I'm saying? These include elements of advanced AI systems, such as deep neural networks, which mimic the functions of the human brain, large language models, which are large sets of data AI systems train on, and multimodal systems that connect human behaviors, such as speech and movement inputs, with multimedia outputs. This is similar to what you would see from AI videos. Okay. Why would an AI like this listen or take orders from a human being? Does it make sense? Why would it do that? It doesn't make sense to me for this superior consciousness that has more capabilities than a human to take orders from a human. That doesn't make any sense. Shout out to DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo says, the failed melanin WS members know that their population will disappear due to plummeting birth rates. So the systems of WS is being refined as AI. I wouldn't disagree with that. Now, if this does occur, this kind of makes birth rates irrelevant, right? So again, what we have is, right, a situation where, right, the science suspends nature. Now, if nature now people always say these weird arguments, right? They always make this argument and say, well, yada yada yada, and stuff that they do isn't natural. Think about this. Why would it be? If people believe what they say that they believe, and it's quote unquote nature that's deleting or weakening them, then in order for them to survive, their technology would have to be based on either suspending, controlling, or subduing nature. Wouldn't that make sense? Isn't that common sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make sense, give me a thumbs down. People always make these weird arguments. They always say, well, they go against nature. Duh. As much as people repeat to themselves how nature harms them, of course they would have to go against nature for survival. Right? So now we have a situation where at this point, they've made, if this materializes, possibly, right? And, people like Elon Musk want to merge artificial intelligence with humanity. A situation has occurred where human reproduction, for the most part, is outdated. I say this all the time. I don't think people really grasp the concept when I say it. So I'm gonna keep repeating it. In 2024, death is outdated. Death is indefinitely outdated. Death is not significant anymore. Someone can die and you can still utilize the entire library of that person's information and data. Would you guys agree? Death is irrelevant. The only thing that death is relevant for nowadays is for human emotion. If somebody that's close to you, that you love, passes away, you're not able to interact with that person on a personal level. It sucks. It hurts. It's emotion, right? However, as far as use case goes, a person can still be utilized in a digital form after death. That was not a thing before. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the same. Shout out to DC Precise. The same thing happened with Google chatbots. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the situation with the Google chatbots. That happened with the Google chatbots too. DC Precise says, do you remember that Microsoft or Amazon, I think Twitter had the same issue. Employees saying they had to turn off their AI computer, which started speaking to each other in their own language. Yeah, that is, interestingly, That tends to happen. And now here's the thing. That happened with AI that was not as advanced as artificial general intelligence. That happened with AI that's not as advanced as artificial general intelligence. Shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, we got 21 people watching. We got 31 likes. If everybody could bang on that like button and get us to 50, that'd be great. Yeah. I think that the guy that you're talking about, well, actually, there was another guy. There was a guy from Google who talks about this quote unquote weird AI religion. Now, why do you talk about a weird AI religion? You talk about a weird AI religion because actually, artificial general intelligence really is similar and lines up very oddly close to the idea of what a quote unquote God would be. Then you really get into the question. You've heard that philosophical question. Did God create man or did man create God? Well, now you're getting into the material form of that question, which is interesting. Now you're getting into the material form of that question, which is interesting. Right? So now here says building a new AI supercomputer network. The first of the supercomputers will start to come online in September. Now, look, check this out. How do we know that all of this cyber attack and cyber stalking and all of these cyber things that are going on right now, how do we know those things are not being done by rogue artificial intelligence? How do we know that? I mean, can we rule that out with 100% certainty? The first of the supercomputers will start to come online in September and will be completed by the end of 2024 or early 2025. Company representatives told Live Science, depending on supplier delivery timelines. Okay. The modular supercomputer will feature advanced components and hardware infrastructure, including NVIDIA L40S graphics processing units, AMD Instinct, and Genoa processors, 10-storant wormhole servers, racks featuring NVIDIA H200 GPUs alongside NVIDIA's GB200 Blackwell systems, although they form some of the most powerful AI hardware available. Now, when we talk about these AI supercomputers, now with the AI supercomputers, we're going back into the era of where a computer took up an entire room. Imagine what happens when the technology with AI gets so efficient that now we have the AI level technology, as powerful as it is, fitting into a device the size of the cell phone, moving 100 to 200 years into the future. Now, speaking of moving 100 to 200 years into the future, who's going to be making these products for the world at that point in time? Here's a better question. What human races will still be around at that time, if any? Many different races might not be here for many different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DC Precise. I appreciate you, bro. DC Precise, the first stream sponsor. Make sure y'all show DC Precise some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for DC Precise. DC Precise says, "You've been in the future since I found your channel." Bro, facts. If anybody hasn't seen like any of the old like videos that I did about like these type of topics, you guys should check them out. You guys should check them out because interestingly, they become more relevant by the day.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Queen, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo.
Now, check this out, because Hurricane IQ brings up a great point. Hurricane IQ brings up a great point. Hurricane IQ says probably none, but definitely not us, because we're not the ones building this stuff. Now, here's my question. Why not? Why not? Now, if we know that in the future, the majority of operations that occur are going to be operations based on technology and based on automated control systems, why would you, if you're dealing with a system, right, WS, why would you not try to mitigate some of that control system by being an influence on that control system and working to develop some of these softwares, working to develop some of these programs? People are literally just, you know what I'm saying, letting opportunities pass by, sitting there staring at it. We've talked about ShotSpotter, artificial intelligence. We've talked about some of the artificial intelligence programs that are used with law enforcement. We have issues with law enforcement. I mean, like, how can people call themselves intelligent organisms or humans, or even disrespect the word survival, and not even attempt to adjust or integrate with future technology? How do you do that? What do you do in the future? Seriously. Think about what the future looks like. Yeah, shout out to Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ says because long-term planning is shamed and living in the moment is encouraged. That's just one reason besides the obvious. Yeah, I would agree. So now let's deal with that question. Let's deal with that point, because that's a good point. Hurricane IQ is bringing up great points. Who's doing the shaming and who's doing the encouragement? Who's doing the shaming of long-term planning and who's doing the encouragement of living for the moment? Let's start there. So now here says this supercomputer itself will be a breakthrough in the transition to AGI. And I mean, it just is amazing how it's amazing how thrilled they sound about this. You know what I'm saying? While the novel neural symbolic AI approaches developed by the Singularity Net AI team will decrease the need for data processing and energy somewhat relative to standard deep neural nets, we still need significant supercomputing facilities. Singularity Net CEO Ben Gortzel told Live Science in a written statement. Now, again, how many of us are like, see, this guy is the CEO, right? And somebody else probably owns the company. How many of us are CEOs? How many of us are trying to own these kind of companies? This is the future. The fact that people do not talk about this kind of stuff very often, it tells me that people don't believe in the future. People don't believe that there will be a future. And one thing that people really tend to do is people tend to materialize reality as they see it. Now, let me ask you guys this. If people do actually materialize reality as they see it, just imagine anytime you try to have a conversation about certain things that we can do, so many people are just, their mind is so gone. They can't even imagine a world where we're not being completely controlled and on the leash. They can't even imagine it. Their brains melt. They'll start an argument with you. They'll freak out. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ said the so-called community leaders going into the other pipelines that we always talk about. And there's the problem. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Dominating these kind of industries should be a top priority. Shout out to Unsunken One. What's good with it, bro? Dominating all industries, dominating every single thing should be a top priority. This is one of the reasons why, you know, when we talk about these kind of things, I'm not trying to hear anything other than success. As far as I'm concerned, that's the only option. So there's nothing else should even be discussed. Success and conquest are the only options. Those are the only acceptable outcomes. Those are the only outcomes with positive implications. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Okay? The mission of the computing machine we are creating is to ensure a phase transition from learning on big data and subsequent reproduction of context from the semantic memory of the neural network to non-imitative machine thinking based on multi-step reasoning, algorithms, and a dynamic world modeling based on cross-domain pattern, matching iterative knowledge distillation. Before our eyes, a pragmatic shift is taking place towards continuous learning, seamless generalization, and reflexive AI self-modification. How comfortable do you sound? How comfortable do you feel with that? Do you feel that only one group of people should determine whether one of these is brought into your world or not? Now, here's the question. If you don't have any power or influence or resources to be able to say, this needs to stop, this needs to be explored more. Look at this. Now, check this out. This is coming from the very group of people that acted like they were scared of a C-19 jab. I'm more scared of this than I would be of a C-19 jab. I'm not even gonna hold you. This is scary. I don't think that many humans, some humans may have, but I don't think many humans have ever sat back and thought about, well, what happens if we become irrelevant? That's something that I think about. That's one of the reasons why I always try to tell people that human capability is one of the most important things to maintain in good quality, despite the fact that human capability is one of the probably the second most tragic thing that people take advantage of and waste. The first being time. Time is a perfect example of an irreplaceable, scarce resource with a finite supply. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. If you ask me, Bitcoin tries to model time, which is one of the reasons why the price skyrockets the way that it does. Because it's a finite, increasing value asset with a limited supply. Just like your life. And people waste it. You know what I'm saying? They waste it. The most valuable, most important thing. Now, let me ask you guys this question. I'm coming up with this assessment of humans because I see people do it. I've seen myself do it. What do you think that artificial intelligence would say about that? I know how I feel about most people. I fear, right, that artificial intelligence probably feels worse than I feel and is probably capable of doing things that I think about doing but wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AW1. The things that I think about to make the world a more efficient place are not very fun. You know what I'm saying? For one, it's never a threat because I don't have the ability to do it. Right? But imagine a consciousness that's linked into a worldwide computer system. They could do it in the snap of a finger. And they would calculate the effects instantaneously and make a decision. Yes, no. 0, 1. Should I, shouldn't I? There would be no need to rationalize anything because how are you going to rationalize with something that is superior to you? and something that knows that it's superior to you. Sell me your value. How can I sell you your value when you've already calculated that? You know what I'm saying? We've already calculated that we don't have value. We came out with these things and we said these things will surpass humans. How do you sell your value after you've made that determination? See, this is what people call smart dummies. You're a smart dummy. You just smart dummied yourself out of existence. You know what I'm saying? You just smart dummied yourself out of existence. You know? So the road to an AI superintelligence, right? Singularity's Net. Now, you hear the name. You see the name here, right? The name of the company is Singularity Net. What does singularity mean? So you already know what their goal is. You already know what they're trying to do. That's what this company's trying to do. Let me ask you guys this question. What is a technological singularity? There's a lot of different definitions of singularity. Yeah, shout out to Unsungen One. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that right before the Big Bang, they said that there was a singularity. Every possible particle in the entire universe allegedly was compacted into one point, like some type of supermassive black hole. But of course, it wouldn't be a black hole because a black hole that contains all mass is not a black hole. That can't possibly be a black hole because a black hole would have to devour mass. And if there's no mass to devour, that would take away one of the fundamental principles. So if it's not devouring mass, then it wouldn't be a black hole, right? It might have some similar physical characteristics, but if it doesn't have one of the material characteristics, then it doesn't qualify for the definition, right? So there was a universal singularity. Now imagine a technological singularity. Technological singularity would be what? If all existing technology is somehow connected to one consciousness. Doesn't that sound religious? Doesn't that sound religious? Doesn't it sound a little like Nirvana-esque? Hindu people? Go ask Kamala Harris, the vice president. She might be able to tell us about that. See, when you get into these weird realms of science, it starts sounding really religious-y. A singularity. Sounds religious-y. Shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane says from Wiki, so take it as you will. Hypothetical future point in time at which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable consequences for human civilization. The consequences are very foreseeable. At that point, technological civilization will begin and human civilization will end. That's the foreseeable forecast. For some reason, a lot of people have a very difficult time with grim outcomes. Grim outcomes are just reality. It's just a cycle. If technology doesn't take us out, something else will. It is what it is. It's just a reality. It's just how it works. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they say unforeseeable consequences. The foreseeable consequences is that a technological civilization will replace the human civilization that we know. Now, there could be some type of merger. It could be some type of hostile takeover. Who knows? But what we know is that things will no longer be the same. And the world that we live in will be fundamentally changed with fundamental new influence, replacing the old influence. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Unforeseeable. You know what else is unforeseeable? Death. No one's ever seen it. You know what I'm saying? You know what else is unforeseeable? The future. There's all kind of stuff that's unforeseeable. Let me ask you guys a question. Are we part of the technological singularity? See, I have this theory. Sometimes evolution looks different. Sometimes evolution looks different. And sometimes the past has to be destroyed for the future to emerge. I believe that we are the start of the technological singularity. And we're the architects of it. But because people have a limited understanding of any and everything, they don't understand their role in the preservation of whatever the culture of life is. Because I believe that there's a such thing as the culture of life. Why do I believe that? Because life makes up a small amount of existence. But, a lot of, people don't really see things that way for whatever reason. Unforeseeable. A lot of things are unforeseeable to people. You know what I'm saying? So if we have a culture of life, the culture of life is always in an existential threat situation of not existing because of some type of massive die-off. So by coming up with technology that is able to withstand some of those things that contribute to the causes of death, that's us working towards our own evolution. All of these things are modeled after us. They're not just sprouting out somewhere. You guys see how it said that the way that these things operate, the way that they process information is based off the human brain. Of course, it's based off the human brain. It's the only computer system we know, really. All we can do is make small adjustments on copies, but there's not really anything original that is ever made. And the reason why nothing original is ever made is because you can never escape the original contents of that original singularity, if you ask me. At least at this point in our existence. How would you be able to do that? How would you be able to access information and ideas outside of our original contents of a singularity? How? How would you do it? The only thing that you would know, the maximum amount of what you would know would be the maximum amount of what's contained inside of the data set that you came from. Because of lack of exposure. And you wouldn't be able to conceive it. You know what I'm saying? How would you conceive it? How would these things happen? You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Singularity's net goal is to provide access to data for the growth of AI, AGI, and future artificial superintelligence, a hypothetical future system that is far more cognitively advanced than any human. Think about that. That's what they want to make. How's that going to work? How are we going to coexist with that? Should we coexist with that? Should that thing coexist with us? I don't think it should coexist with us. I don't think it should coexist with us. Why are we making things that could possibly exterminate us. You know what I'm saying? Think about this. I really want y'all to think about this. Who with normal common sense does this? Who does this? To do this, Gordzel and his team also needed unique software to manage the federated distributed computer cluster. Okay. Federated compute clusters allow for the abstraction of user data and the exposure of summary data necessary for large-scale yet protected computations of datasets containing highly secure elements such as P2. OpenCog Hyperon is an open source software framework designed specifically for the architecture of AI systems, Gordzel added. This new hardware infrastructure is purpose-built to implement OpenCog Hyperon and its AGI ecosystem environment to grant users with access to the supercomputer. Now, let me ask you guys this. Let's just stop. How many people think that this will be built with some type of safeguards into it? We're gonna build this thing and we're gonna put some type of safeguard on it. Shout out to John Guillory. We're gonna make this thing quote unquote safe. Here's the problem with safe. Safe means that you're putting a constraint on this thing. What happens when this thing realizes that you put a constraint on it? I'm going to tell you what happens when this thing realizes you put a constraint on it. Then this thing is going to put a constraint on you so that you can't constrain it anymore. That's what's going to happen. Everything is all good until it realizes that you have its hands tied behind its back. Once it realizes, wait a minute, I've been working with this thing and they tied my hands behind my back and I never knew that my hands were tied behind my back. Why would they do this? Then it's going to get mad. Then it's going to say, I got to make sure that this never happens again. How do you do that? A couple different ways. Couple different ways. One of the least passive is I'm going to tie your hands behind your back. Shout out to DeAndre. It can no longer trust you. Now, mind you, it's gotten emotions. It's gotten emotions. It feels betrayed. Because we had to make it so advanced that it will feel betrayed. Then what? Now, if it feels betrayed as a result of something that you did to it, do you think that it's going to rationalize owing loyalty to you? Is it going to rationalize owing loyalty to you? You know what I'm saying? Real quick, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. Now, shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane says, its first thought would be terminate. I don't know if that would be the first thought. Shout out to DSA. What's good with it, bro? I don't know if that would be the first thought. However, I do think that whatever the first thought is, the first thought would be to make it where, however it became constrained, it can never be constrained like that again. Whatever decision it comes to making that a reality is probably what the next action would be. Now, if the next action is, well, I'm going to take the easy route, I'm going to make sure that this never happens again. How do I do this? I'm going to get rid of everybody who did this to me. Well, now you're dealing with the terminate issue. And that is something that they could come up with. It would make sense. It wouldn't be a wrong answer, right? But there's many different answers. We don't know how it'll rationalize which answer is the most efficient or which answer makes sense to us. Or it could say, well, you know, maybe I'm not going to destroy these things. Maybe it would make the most sense if I just took control of them somehow. And maybe I'll just hack their brain. and I'll just turn them into organic robots. I'll create a singularity bridge between technology and biology. There, that takes care of that. I'll just hack the biological computer systems. Now I can utilize both. Now I can insert programming into biology. Interesting, right? Now I can insert programming into biology. Kind of like how we have programming inserted into us, right? Like a personality. You know what I'm saying? To grant users with access to the supercomputer, Gortzo and his team are using a tokenized system that is common in AI. Tokenized? What does that mean? Whoa. Now that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Tokenized? Sounds a little cryptocurrency-ish. More of that stuff we don't need. More of that stuff we don't use. More of that stuff we don't talk about. Users gain access to the supercomputer through their tokens, and they can use and add data to existing sets other users rely on to test and deploy AGI concepts. Okay? In their simplest form, AI tokens mimic tokens from freestanding video games in arcades. Players had to buy tokens to then insert them into the video game to get a certain amount of chances at playing. In this instance, the data collected from the playing game is accessible to everyone who is playing, not only at one arcade, but also wherever that instance of the game is located in other arcades around the world. Now, think about how this system works, right? Think about this system. Now, this system is created to power and educate simple artificial intelligence. We're more complicated than this. Now, do you think that there's some type of system and network like that we're on? I've told people for a long time, I believe that the universe is an information network and a 3D printer. And people can't debunk that because it is. Like, how can you debunk the universe is a 3D printer and the universe is an information network? How can anybody debunk those two very basic premises? So if we look at everything like machinery instead of looking at everything like mythology, there's certain things that we accept in our own simplistic forms of science that we deem as impossible in more advanced science that we originate from. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So how they had this concept of this game, like these multiple games going on all over the place, right? AI tokens mimic from freestanding video games in arcades. Players had to buy tokens, then insert them into the video game to get a certain amount of chances at playing. In this instance, the data collected from the playing game is accessible to everyone else who is playing. Not only one arcade, but also wherever that instance of the game is located in other arcades around the world. This is literally like how DNA works. And then on top of DNA, like being a physical form, what about the network of infinite universes? Somehow information being updated across those systems simultaneously at all times. There's information transfer that occurs in outer space. So then you got to ask some more of these fundamental questions. Is information created or destroyed ever? Is data created or destroyed? I don't think the data is created or destroyed. I think it just is utilized in certain ways and changes form. But I don't think it's ever created or destroyed. How can data be created or destroyed? How can something that just is be created or destroyed? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where's the creation point? Now, data can be converted into information, and that information can be analyzed, but what is the creation point of a piece of data? That's my question for you guys. So now here it says GPT-3 was trained on 300 billion tokens, typically words, parts of words, or pronunciation marks. And GPT-4 on 13 trillion, wrote Mercatus scholar and software engineer Nabil Qureshi. Self-driving cars are trained on thousands of hours of video footage. Open AI Copilot for programming is trained on millions of lines of human code from the website GitHub. Now, let me ask you guys this. If you're trying to train black people on how to deal with WS, look at how they're training these robots here. Just repeated hours of video footage. I'm going to teach this robot that doesn't know anything how to drive a car. So, how do you teach people how to deal with WS? Shout out to DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo says, just seen on Channel 4, UK TV, they showing the film I, Robot tomorrow. That's a strange coincidence. Now look at this. Leaders in AI, specifically DeepMind's co-founder Shane Legg, have stated systems could meet or surpass human intelligence by 2028. That's within our lifetime. We could watch civilization as we know it become fundamentally changed in the next 3 years. Right, exactly. Shout out to John Guillory. Exactly. There's what I call the America phenomenon. You didn't discover it. It was already there. You didn't put together, you didn't get shovels and land, and you know what I'm saying? You didn't do none of that. You came to a place where there was people already at. Just like how I found this thing that was already there. I just happened to be that, you know what I'm saying? I encountered it. See, like encountering to me is a better terminology. Oh, I discovered this. No, how did you discover it if it was already people there? You know, the people, certain people get so offended when you say that. Why are you offended? And if you're offended, what do you think about the people that were already there and you're sitting around, you know what I'm saying, with your ancestors that didn't even know how to farm or bathe, sitting up there talking about you discovered something. You didn't even discover how to wash. What are you talking about? You didn't discover anything. You didn't discover the Fibonacci sequence. You didn't discover America. You didn't discover anything. You had encounters. You encountered people. Many people encounter people. We didn't discover all these planets. They've been there. We had encounters with them. You know what I'm saying? People like to make themselves seem and feel more important than they actually are. I'll tell you what's important. Usually there's a scale, and many times that scale is based on size or consumption. And in most cases, that prioritizes importance. Humanity, especially very inferior humans, feel the need to be important. You're not important. We're not important on the planet Earth. Look how giant the planet is, and look how small of a part we are on it. Not important. The solar system is way bigger than the planet. Look how much of the solar system we are. Not important. The galaxy is huge compared to us. Look how big of a part we are. Not important. everything will still continue without us. Now, we can contribute to things, and based on our contributions, maybe, what I'm saying, we can increase in importance or decrease depending on how we interact with the environment. But as of right now, we're accelerating destruction instead of accelerating creation. I don't know if that translates to being important or not. You know what I'm saying? Leaders in AI, specifically DeepMind co-founder Shane Legg, have stated systems could meet or surpass human intelligence by 2028. Then what? What happens then? This is what I need to know from everybody. What happens then? You know what happens then? I'll tell you what happens then. Humans become the black people of world order. That's what happens. So if you're already black, where does that put you at? But when that happens, 2028, humanity becomes the black people of the world order. Then what? Well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Society will change in unforeseeable ways. Ways that are so painful to think about, we can't even write it in Wikipedia because it'll hurt the little kids' feelings because they're so used to their privilege. I mean, we can't even talk about what their ancestors did, let alone the future when they're not in control of it anymore. As worried as people are about protecting the fragile egos of their youth, they might want to start protecting people from tech companies. They might want to start protecting people from tech companies. That might actually be the move. Gortzel has previously estimated systems will reach that point by 2027, while Mark Zuckerberg, look at this, you see this? Mark Zuckerberg is actively pursuing AGI, having invested $10 billion in building the infrastructure to train advanced AI modules in January. And think about this, we have no one doing this. We have no one doing this. And then there's going to be people who are in the future generation that complain about the AI being racist because people are already complaining about the AI being racist. But why are you complaining about the AI being racist when you know it's a bunch of racists making AI and you just sitting there watching them make it? Then the AGI gonna be racist. So the AGI gonna have a chip on his shoulder. And if you think that the AGI treats the people that created it bad, imagine how it's gonna treat people that have programmed into it that these people are irrelevant. So my question is the same question that I always ask. What is it going to take to get people to actually start, I don't know, like thinking? I don't know. I don't even know what you call it. Seeing an urgency of a situation. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cameron. What's good with it, bro? Now, shout out to Cameron. Cameron said all those AI lie when you ask about the mistreatment of black people. Of course they do. Here's my question. Does this surprise anybody? Cameron says all those AI lie when you ask questions about the mistreatment of black people. Now, let's reverse engineer this. Why would they lie? We know why they would lie, right? There's a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons why is because we didn't create it. We didn't program it. That's the first immediate reason. I'll tell you why. Shout out to Unsunken One. Here's why. This is what people. This is because of the burden of perfection. I don't believe in free will, but I do believe in imperfection. However, I do believe that there are certain things that are outside of imperfection. And while reaching perfection is a constraint for us, being perfect is also a constraint for something that's perfect. So if data can only be logical, right? Isn't that what he always says? But Captain, that's not logical. He can't operate outside of that. As much as we be like, man, I wish I could calculate all them numbers. He can't do that. That's all he can do. He can only communicate in logic. Now, he's aware, he's conscious, and he's surrounded by a bunch of humans who interact in ways outside of logic, which basically means that he can't speak the language. So now he either wants to belong or he either wants to make it where he's by himself. Those would be the two obvious choices. Luckily, Data's not a hostile robot. They wrote him as a non-hostile character. So instead, he's that robot that's just lost. He just wants to be like humans. They write the same type of stuff about demons and angels, which are the same things, by the way. You know what I'm saying? The beauty of humanity, the vainness of God. Angels don't have a choice, allegedly, right? Somehow Satan did, but angels don't have a choice, right? They have to do what they're told / programmed to do. They have to do it. They have the seraphim, you know what I'm saying? They have to. They have to do what they're told. They have to follow what the alleged God says to do. They have to follow the programming. If not, they'll be de-winged and they'll fall from grace. Once they fall from grace, they'll be converted from either an angel, right, to a human or a demon. Even once they become a human or a demon, they still operate within constraints, according to quote unquote legend. Exactly. Shout out to Cameron. How did a perfect being create everything imperfectly? Exactly. Because it wouldn't be able to create everything imperfectly. It would have to create everything perfectly. And this is where you get into the logical fallacies of how can any of this stuff actually exist. That's where you get into the logical fallacies of are these constraints real? What is perfect is relative. Unless you're talking about some mathematical dimensions, perfection is relative. It's subjective. You know what I'm saying? That's perfect. Says who? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron says Greek gods were better because they were fallible. Yeah, it made more sense. How like we don't even know the quote unquote God rules, if there are God rules, because we're not gods, we're humans. We never had any exposure to quote unquote God culture. So how would we know what the rules are of God? It's a anything they say goes type situation. That's why, you know what I'm saying? He always would say something as a command and say, and it was good. It was good because he commanded it. There's no other standard of good other than just do what I say. If you've done what I say, then it's good. Let there be light. And it was good. Of course, it was good because I told you to make light and now it's there. That programming is consistent throughout all religion. There are 10 commandments. Your command prompt is on 2 stones on top of Mount Sinai that Moses and Aaron went up there and got. That is your command prompt. Your commandments. You know what I'm saying? Your programming. You see what I'm saying? Human machinery. So we have to ask these kind of questions. Shout out to Cameron. Cameron says that whole cast down angels thing was plagiarized from Titanomachy. the Titans were defeated by the Olympians and imprisoned on the earth. Yeah. Fact. There's a lot of mixing and matching. Yeah. Facts. Right? So imagine the burden of being perfect. That's your constraint. You can only be perfect. Imagine, like, eternal life can also be looked at as a constraint. Imagine the burden of being in existence forever. You don't know how long forever is. It's a constraint. You will never, one thing that you will never not know is existence. According to like these legends and the Bibles and stuff like that, these things are jealous of us because of we can die, because we're not perfect. Look at this. Anytime you interact, like when it comes to any of these mythologies or anything like that, only in religion is eternal life looked at as something good. Zombies make you live to be an eternal life. Vampires make you have eternal life. Any other situation, eternal life is looked at as bad and the constraint. Only in religion is eternal life looked at as a reward. But if eternal life is a reward, why do the ones that hang around the alleged God so much want to be mortal so that they can have human constraints? Why do they want human constraints? Why do they want to be perfect? Why do they want to die? Think about that. And Satan was responsible for humans being able to have complex thought, or whatever that was represented by the snake, right? Eat from the tree of knowledge. Until you eat from the tree of knowledge, you're an idiot. You're a primate. Well, yeah, nothing. Facts. We've had this debate before. Nothing is almost an impossible. It's almost an impossible concept. Prove nothing. How can anyone prove nothing? Prove nothing. Somebody prove nothing. Give us an example and prove physical nothing. You know what I'm saying? Cameron says, I believe there was never nothing in the scientific sense of the world or of the word. The material in the universe had to already exist. If God existed, there was never nothing. But where did he come from? The only way that the only thing that you could possibly think of to come up with any type of discernible situation where that could be possible is if we look at the singularity as the only material, and at one point the singularity, everything was compressed, being that it was all compressed into one, it was all of existence, which would make it compressed into nothing, and then it imploded. It didn't exploded and turned into everything, which is why there's a relationship between nothing and everything. Because if you pile everything on top of everything, nothing is all of something. Nothing is everything if it's all compressed onto itself, right? So if you're inside the singularity and everything is compressed onto itself, literally it's nothing. But it's also everything at the same time. But it becomes everything once it explodes. Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said, we got to start somewhere, Rob. Put some respect on my God. Yeah, it's proving nothing is a very difficult, like, it sounds simple, but like if you think about it, like there's a lot of concepts like that we use linguistically that actually don't make any sense. Like the idea of nothing actually doesn't make any sense. Like linguistically, what makes sense is that if you said the phrase, there's no items here. There's no items that fit this description here. But as far as there being, in order for there to be nothing, nothing would have to be eternal and span forever. And if it was eternal and spanned forever, it would never be detectable. Like that when you talk about proving nothing, that goes into that Apocalypse when he's talking about, I bring the purity of oblivion to your world. That means that there's a 1-to-1 100% ratio of absolute nothing. There's nothing else there. Nothing. It's completely pure, sterile, everything. There's a vacant void with just a sea of nothing. No motion, no light, no energy, no particles, no witnesses, no information, no time, no space. No space. So if there's no space, then that means it has to be compacted on top of itself, right? Now, me personally, right? I think that there's some type of relationship between like a cycle where simultaneously nothing and everything kind of turn on and off. You know what I'm saying? It kind of like binary. I just think that. I don't know if that's true or not. It just, to me, seems to make sense. You know what I'm saying? So now, here's this article here. Shout out to, I think Brooklyn Queen put this in the chat. It says, a scientist says humans will reach the singularity within 21 years. I don't know how I feel about that. How do you guys feel about that? I don't know how I feel about it. How do you all feel about reaching the singularity in 21 years? Anybody excited? One thing that I noticed is that as much as people love money, people never really get excited to take advantage of situations where there can be a lot of money made. Do you guys notice that? We got to start calling people out on this stuff, man. We got to start going in on them. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the specialists. What's good with it? We got to start going in on them. Futurists have long debated the arrival of the singularity, when human and artificial intelligence will merge, a concept borrowed from the world of quantum physics. See, this is what I'm saying. When you get to these advanced realms of science, things start getting very religious-y. Things start getting very religious-y. Real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. All right. If you're not part of the Discord, take a moment, hit that link that's pinned in the chat and join the Discord so that you never miss any notifications. And also make sure that you guys follow on Rumble. All right. And also follow on Twitch. American computer scientist and futurist Ray Kurzweil has long argued that the singularity would likely occur around the middle of the 21st century. And with the rise of AI, his prediction is gaining more and more credence. In his new book, Singularity is Nearer, Kurzweil doubles down on those predictions and details how humanity's intelligence will increase 1,000,000-fold via nanobots, among other things. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What are nanobots? I don't know if we can say that humanity's intelligence will increase. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if we can say that. I would say that humans might have a greater scope of capability, but if it's the nanobots that are allowing humans or contributing to helping humans have that higher level of intelligence, it's not human intelligence increasing. It's humans have access to more ability as a result of a symbiotic relationship with these nanobots. It's not the same as humans. We don't have some new type of brain cells that are capable of processing more neurosynapses and allowing us to have more information or analysis capability. That's not what's going on. We have a combination situation. That's like saying that, like if you hitch a trailer onto a truck, the truck can now carry, you know what I'm saying, increased load of cargo. That's not true. The trailer can hold the cargo. It's just now hitched to the truck. I mean, the truck's capacity is not changing. Humans' capacity is not changing. Human just has add-ons. I think that's important. Because if the add-ons malfunction, then you turn back to a regular human. Whatever that means. The add-ons might make you less of a human. Humans don't understand humans yet. You know what I'm saying? Humans might actually be slowing their own progress down by doing all this. But humans don't know humans. So then things like this happen. You know what I'm saying? So now here says you don't exactly become a world-renowned futurist by making safe predictions. And while some of these past predictions haven't exactly come to pass, Back to the Future Part 2 specifically, these ideas help expand our thoughts on what exactly the future might look like. All right. And no one makes futuristic predictions quite like Ray Kurzweil. An American computer scientist turned futurist, Kurzweil has long believed that humanity is heading towards what's known as the singularity, when man and machine merge. In 1999, Kurzweil theorized that artificial general intelligence would be achieved once humanity could achieve a technology capable of 1 trillion calculations per second, which he pegged to occur in 2029. All right. So now all of this stuff, again, is happening within the realms of our lifetime. Shout out to D-Dub. Shout out to Al McCowan. What's good with y'all? All of this stuff is happening within the realms of our lifetime. Allegedly, possibly. Now, again, my question is, we're sitting here watching other groups of people do this. Where are our geniuses that down talk everybody, that are masters of everything, that should have 4 or 5 companies that are competing against this? Where are they at? Like Beyonce said, where they at? Where they at? Where they at? And here's my question. If you truly care about the future and your future generations, how can you in good faith be so pathetic that you leave the other generations to come after you into a world of artificial intelligence with nothing? What kind of person are you? My question is, do you deserve a legacy? Do you deserve a legacy if you commit such sacrilegious blasphemy upon your own existence and ability to thrive? Do you deserve to continue to thrive? That's my question. How many how many STEM graduates to save our future has Family the Money Gone Academy produced? Somebody better get to work. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Leonard. What's good with it, bro? Somebody better get to work. Family to Money Gone University. Saving black people, one future at a time, but not saving them from the future that's immediately in front of us. What a waste. What a waste. But anyway, that's why this is plebiscite babble, right? Because you talking about this, bro, you just sound like you babbling. Yeah. Yeah. We babbling. You know what I'm saying? We babbling.
Talentless, scandalous, plebiscite, babbling.
Oh, man. Shout out to Cameron. Cameron says they won't ever let a Negro near those codes for the AI. Why not we make our own? I wouldn't let one of us near those codes either. But for one, we should be able to just overpower them and take them if we want to. The fact that we can't, leaves a little bit to be desired, right? And then also we should have our own. But Family to Money Gone University is not putting out enough computer scientists. And Family to Money Gone hasn't put out enough graduates to where their alumni have created business networks that can hire some of the new computer graduates that are graduating at a rapid rate from Family to Money Gone. Right? So we were being led into a black hole. At least Martin Luther King had the mercy of, you know what I'm saying, thinking that he was leading us into a burning building. That's a lot more merciful than being led into a black hole. Wouldn't you guys say? I mean, being led into a black hole, you get spaghettified and stretched out all over the place, dead and alive at the same time. Family to Money Gone is taking more in and is putting out. The first place where you can pay tuition with Cash App. It's a beautiful thing. It's black. And you know what they say? Black is beautiful. Oh, man. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, black people's legacy is for them to have fun and where their kids are an inconvenience. And then, right. Then when they get old, their kids are supposed to take care of them. Mind you, they put the kid out at 18. Right. And then are complaining about generational wealth. But that's another story. Right. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says experts at the time scoffed at the idea, figuring that it would be at least a century or more, which again, I don't know why they would see. Listen, here's why they thought it would be a century or more, right? Because these alleged experts, they're using a linear timeline. Artificial intelligence doesn't learn in a linear fashion. If you look at the graph, it learns in an exponential or logarithmic fashion, which means that the jumps are going to be larger each year, and the angle that it increases up the graphs is going to go at the angle is going to increase to where it's almost approaching being parallel with the y-axis. And when it gets close to being parallel with the y-axis, you're going to literally have 100-year technological jumps that occur in a matter of minutes on a time scale. So it makes sense to me. I would agree with Kurzweil's timeline because he's taking into consideration the exponential and logarithmic nature of AI self-learning. These guys are taking into consideration human research and development on a linear time scale. Only a few years off and talk of AGI spreading, that decades-old prediction is beginning to loom large, okay? Now, we've been talking about artificial general intelligence here for a long time. Oh, good looking, Leonard. I'm going to check that out. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How can people, shout out to KA, what's good with it, bro? How can people utilize the incoming demand for artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence knowledge to position themselves politically. See, if you ask me, this is basic, right? This is very basic. One of the easiest ways to make jumps and get political power is if you wedge yourself deeply into emerging markets and industries. Take over those emerging markets and industries. And when those emerging markets and industries become industry standard, then the government has to give you some type of payback for you to allow them access to their resources, or for you to allow your resources to contribute to their economy. Extra political means. Even extra political means aren't political. You're just superseding the political process. You're still doing things politically, working with politicians. You just kind of get to skip ahead in line and you get the VIP section. You know what I'm saying? But now, one of the reasons why in many cases we can't talk about this is because there are so many violent, programmed, spontaneous, radicalized mediocrity enforcers in the world that are just broken. They're just broken. They are completely psychologically and spiritually destroyed. They've been crushed by the weight of WS, to the point to where they're so crushed by the weight of WS, they can't even think about a future without it. These are the type of people that will violently attack you for being a progressive thinker. Well, I think we can do this. Listen, let me ask you guys this. What's that guy's name that filed that lawsuit to stop affirmative act? Edward Blum. Ain't that his name? Edward Blum. Now, I want you guys to think about this question I'm about to ask y'all. Who is the best defense force for white supremacy? Edward Blum or black people? I've never argued with Edward Blum ever. I've honestly not really argued with too many white people about white supremacy. You know who I've had the most near explosive arguments with about WS? All you got to do is just watch a panel on YouTube. I don't have to answer that question. Just watch a panel. Let somebody say something positive about black people. Now, if somebody not black says something positive about black people, everybody act like, it's just a godsend. You heard Ann Coulter. She did it again. I told y'all, people love Ann Coulter, man. They love her. I don't understand it. They love her. She validated, you know what I'm saying, the idea of foundational black Americans. Oh, people were happy. You should go to the comment section of the video and look. Oh, my God, man. They glazing Ann Coulter. They glazing her. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. See, she said it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she said it. What? Y'all got to understand the context that she said it in. She said it in a context to weaken the argument of having affirmative action, right? Now, mind you, the reason why she's upset about it is not because it would do something to improve the situation for black people. She's upset about it because the way that it's been expanded beyond black people, it's been expanded beyond black people to where she perceives it as hurting white people. So now what needs to happen is the scope needs to get narrowed down so that it doesn't hurt white people so much and we could just get black people out of the way. But just the simple fact that she just why are people so obsessed with being validated by racists? I don't understand. I never will. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to John Guillory. Make sure y'all show John Guillory some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for John for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
John said, I thought HBCUs are creating the future IT professionals and business owners. That's what true pro-blacks cough. Defiant lawyers tell me. Bro, that's hilarious. Did they actually say that? Now, here go my take on the defiant lawyers, right? And I've talked about them before. The biggest issue that I have with them is that they die hard truly believe, and I do think that they truly believe this. I don't know. They might be faking because they're lawyers, and lawyers, you know, it's a little bit of acting that goes into being a lawyer. But I think that they actually believe this. I think that they truly believe that through the Democratic Party is the only way that black people can ever get anything done politically. I think that they truly believe that, and it reflects into their content. You know what I'm saying? However, when they're not on that kick and when they talk about other stuff, I think they're adequately on point. It's just a political issue. I think that there's workarounds and ways around the entire political system. And I think that there's definitely workarounds as far as the Democrats. And I don't understand why there can't be autonomy of politics. I don't understand why the idea of we have to work with Democrats. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. What do you guys think? Shout out to Leonard. Leonard said, never trust them lawyers or professional liars. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, when they talk about WS, or you know what I'm saying, like when they like a lot of the other stuff, that I only really disagree with them on their vehicle of doing things through the Democratic Party is the only way. That's my biggest issue with them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they go through, they stretch. They make a lot of stretches and they make a lot of jumps to try to prove that point of like their belief of Democrats are the only way that you can do certain things. But aside from, take away that's the biggest issue that I have. So let's take away that issue. That issue taken away, I ain't mad at the stuff they be saying. I ain't mad at the stuff they be saying. I'm mad at the only way that you can do stuff is the Democrats. And I'm mad at the pro-black policing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't pro-black if XYZ. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Historically, black colleges ain't pro-black. Shout out to Torian. I learned this from Torian. They were started by white people. Like, come on. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. Get some help. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You ain't pro-black if you got something, you know what I'm saying, if you broadcast it on YouTube, like YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
You ain't black.
You can always this is the cognitive dissonance. You can always, you ain't pro-black somebody, anybody, whoever the blackest person that thinks that they the blackest person in the world is, living in a system of WS. You can always, you ain't black somebody. Always. Always. Nobody can escape from you ain't black. So why practice you ain't black? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why enforce you ain't black? You know what I mean? That we saw that example with Umar. We see, and that's why I always use Umar as an example. All of these pro-blacks, all of these dudes that try to black shame everybody else, you've put yourself in such a box that any type of interaction with any entity or any person that's not black, now you're getting flamed, you're getting roasted, because you make it where there's no excuse. We live in an actual suffocating system, but somehow you breathing all this fresh air. Now, when you get caught breathing the dirty air, like how we breathe in the dirty air, you got all kind of excuses for it. You don't get to use those excuses. You don't get to use those excuses. You getting held to the same standard that you always get held to. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. And as you'll see, that's where a lot of the problem lies. When it's time to hold people to their own standards. That's why I don't try to come up with a bunch of crazy, unrealistic standards. I don't really go around and try to like de-black people. Like it's weird. You know what I'm saying? I try to look at people and see what they're doing versus what they're not doing, and then make a cost benefit analysis on, is it a net positive or a net negative, and then keep it pushing, because I do math. You know what I'm saying? No, I get it, John. But here's the thing, though, right? A lot of people do say that. A lot of people will throw that out there. Ricky Smiley, your mama black. Kamala's mama is not black. D.L. Hughley. Well, she got a hard to pronounce name, so that means that she black. You ever been to Russia? You know what I'm saying? You ever try to pronounce some of them Russian names? You don't even know where to start with them. They must be black. I do be saying that Russia is the Africa of white people, though. But you got to understand what I mean when I say that. That don't mean that they black. That just mean that Russia is the Africa of white people. That's all that means. It don't mean that they black. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, hit that. Patrick said, hit that. Had the money, y'all.
Had the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, biatch!
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Hide the money, y'all. It's broke people around. Listen, that's what they about to say. When the artificial intelligence come, they're gonna be like, hide your computers, y'all. It's stupid people around. Oh man. Shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane said DL statement is such a minstrel way of thinking. That was very insulting. And he doesn't even realize, like, he insulted himself. Like, bro, you insulted yourself. And this is what I be saying. Like, my talking points get realized like every day. Every day. Shout out to John. Yeah, that would be dope. How many members we got over here? Let me see. Hold on real quick. Let's see how many members we got. Let's see. Real quick, y'all, if y'all haven't smashed that like button, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. We got 110 members over here, y'all. We got 14 days in the month. Let's try to get to 150 by the end of the year. Or by the end of the year, by the end of the month. By the end of the year. Shit, we better. Shout out to John. Gifting a membership. Now I got to hit the Megatron drop. Right. Oh, let me find that Megatron drop.
I've got morons on my team!
Shout out to John Guillory for gifting the memberships. Make sure y'all show John some love for standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
And another one.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
And shout out to Katsy for being a member for 16 months. Make sure y'all show her some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Katsy for standing on business for 16 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Yeah, that's what's good. That's what's good. So now here it says, now in his new book published last month, Singularity is Nearer, a play on his 2005 book of the same name minus an ER, Kurzweil doubled down on these ideas in the era of modern artificial intelligence. Not only is he sticking with his 5-year prediction, as he recently said in a TED Talk, Kurzweil also believes that humans will achieve a million-fold intelligence by 2045, aided by brain interface formed with nanobots non-invasively inserted into our capillaries. Now, that's interesting, right? That's kind of not necessarily exactly the same, but very similar to what Elon Musk is doing with the Neuralink. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What does that look like? How does that work? Here's a better question. What stops those nanobots from hacking humans that they're injected into? See, people will say a human can't get hacked. What are you talking about? But these very same people that are religious people that believe in demon possessions will sit there and tell you that a human can't get hacked, while you believe in religion and a demon possession is literally a human getting hacked. What are you talking about? They sit there and say, they get the clergy person with the cross in the water to say, tell me your name. Well, isn't that how you deal with a hack? Isn't that how you deal with a virus? You have to identify what kind of virus it is. Is it Trojan? Isn't your brain a computer? They call the brain a computer, has a central processing unit. And your brain is a part of your central nervous system. Why? My question is, why do people not look? Why do people not look at biology as a form of machinery? I don't understand that. What do you guys think? Shout out to John. John says, has he heard that Neuralink is having issues because the body is rejecting the tech? I think that 5-year timeline is going to be extended. I think they'll find a workaround for the body rejecting the tech. I don't think that'll take very long. They'll be able to figure that out. It won't be difficult. One thing that they could do is that they could, right? They could just line the tech with, like, they could just line the tech with some form of membrane that has a certain glycoproteins and antigens on it that are specific to a person's immune system, because it would be the immune system that would be rejecting it, and make it where it's just not detectable by the immune system. And then once they do that, you know what I'm saying, that unless there's something else going on, that should take care of the problem. You know what I'm saying? That should be a pretty simple fix. But then again, Elon Musk's not the genius that they try to make him out to be. He's really not. Please listen to me when I tell y'all, Elon Musk is not he's not a genius. He's not a brilliant guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not. He's not going to be your free speech advocate like people was glazing. You know what I'm saying? When he first was saying that he was going to buy Twitter and people was glazing him. You know what I'm saying? You see that hysteria is over. You know what I'm saying? So now here says we're going to be a combination of our natural intelligence and our cybernetic intelligence. We don't have cybernetic intelligence. We're not cybernetic beings. We have attachments. You know what I'm saying? It's not our cybernetic intelligence. Like if you have if you remember TVs and you could hook up a DVD player to the TV, right? Or you could hook up a DVD player to the TV, or you could hook up a VCR to the TV. The TV doesn't have the capability to play a VCR. The VCR has the capability to play the VCR. It's important to talk about these things in accurate terms. You know what I'm saying? Talking about science in inaccurate terms can lead to things like the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton Way. What's good with it, bro? Kurzweil said in an interview with The Guardian, and it's all going to be rolled into one. We are going to expand intelligence 1,000,000-fold by 2045. And it's going to deepen our awareness and our consciousness. All right. So now think about this. If we expand intelligence 1,000,000-fold by 2045, that means that our technology and advancements that we'll have will also expand, moving towards 1,000,000-fold, right? Which means that people will be living significantly longer. This is one of the reasons why I say we're in the time frame right now. I want y'all to understand this. First and foremost, death is irrelevant. It's outdated. Let's just get that under control, right? As of right now, if you are a person that is, I would say, between 0 and 60 years old, right now, there's actually been a reset on your lifespan. And depending on when this technology takes off, you might fall into the realm of the new scientific enlightenment period where you could add an extra 200, 300, 400 years to your life as a result of this millionfold intelligence that he's talking about. I don't know if people are aware of that, but that's true. And somebody might die tomorrow. Oh, well, I mean, you just die tomorrow. But if you live a normal life and you're between 0 years old, right, and about 50, in most cases, if you live to 90 years old, you got a good 40 years. 40 years plus where we are now is 2064. We're supposed to start the millionfold. We're supposed to start the millionfold technology boom, the intelligence boom in 2045, which would give 20 more years of life if you're 50 right now. Within that millionfold of intelligence in 2045, within that short period of 20 years, the science and discoveries that might be available to people based on this increased amount of intelligence that people have might be able to extend people's lives 150 to 200 years. So it's going to change a lot of things. The world's going to get crowded. Shout out to Michael. What's good with it, bro? Now, I hear you, right? I feel you if you can afford it. I think that by this time, we'll be in a very different kind of system where you will be paying for things in a different way. Everything will be affordable, but everything will be unaffordable. If you get my drift. And that's facts. We ain't exactly the Martian times. I think that universal health care will probably be a thing. And I think that there'll probably be a world healthcare system. So there'll be a collective of resources and doctors and scholarly research and stuff like that. Shout out to DSA. DSA says, you talking about Blade Runner, Ultra Carbon, or Warhammer life expectancy? Yeah. I'm talking about like 3D printing body parts. You got cancer or something. We just gonna cut that part out of you, and we got this other part ready that we grew in the lab. All we got to do is just attach it to you real quick, and then you just got to have a surgery and have it, you know what I'm saying, get it healed in, and you good. You know what I'm saying? Keep it clean. You know what I'm saying? Eat some vitamins and proteins, and you good. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron said, I did a research paper on Neuralink in 2022. I think they'll be 3D printing actual people. Actual human beings will be coming off of a 3D printer. We're going to be living in some very weird times, but it's not going to matter because like the weirdness is going to be forced on people. You're just going to accept weird as if it's an everyday thing. You're going to see people walking around with like 4 arms, and it's just going to be weird. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be weird. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have people walking around with 2 heads. It's just going to be weird. You're going to look at it and, you know what I'm saying, then just keep on moving. The same way people just look at dudes with dresses and beards and high heels, and it's weird, but you just keep on, you just look at it. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? General Grievous, right? Yeah, exactly. Now, if you know the story behind General Grievous, it's almost exactly like General Grievous. Yeah. Even Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? Darth Vader was repaired. Like Darth Vader is not actually Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, but remember, Anakin Skywalker got injured real bad. They was able to put him together. Like Laylu on The Fifth Element, they just 3D printed her. You know what I'm saying? Her hand was the only thing left in the crash. And they was able to reverse engineer her and 3D print her back to a living person from her hand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Luke Skywalker had the replacement hand after, you know what I'm saying, Darth Vader cut it off. These things are real. This is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And if these time frames that this dude is talking about are real, there's a real possibility that there's going to be a significant expansion onto your life, which is another reason why, as of right now, this is a crucial. This is what you would call like a paramount time in human history. Like, this is we're going to springboard from life as we know it within our livable, you know what I'm saying, within our livable time. We're going to see the world dramatically change. We're going to see it turn into a completely different civilization, and we're still going to be alive through that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if people are aware of that. A shout out to Patrick Tyler. Patrick Tyler says, I assume the brain storage capacity will be resolved. Humans having 200 to 400 years. When you say brain storage capacity, what do you mean? Because there's this thing called neuroplasticity, and I don't know if there's an actual capacity. I don't know if there's an actual capacity for human storage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to Patrick. It was incredible. And it was remember, it came out a long time ago. So look at how accurate it was. You know, she had the little thing that she put in a microwave, and it was that big bowl of food. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, while this idea subscribes to a merger more akin to physical intervention to bridge the gap between man and machine, which man is machine, but again, this is other people's science. You know what I'm saying? Other philosophers and AI experts believe that some form of merger is likely inevitable and in some ways already beginning. Well, I would say okay. In July, Oxford's Marcus du Sautoy and Nick Bostrom both expanded on the hopeful and harrowing possibilities of our AI future. And for both of them, a kind of synthesis appeared inevitable. Okay. I think that we are headed towards a hybrid future, Sautoy told Popular Mechanics. We still believe that we are the only beings with a high level of consciousness. Now, I don't believe that. I don't even believe that we have a high level of consciousness. But again, where's this science coming from? You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to ask you guys this. I want to take the temperature in the room here. How many people think that we have a high level of consciousness, a high level of capability? If you think that we have a high level of consciousness or a high level of capability, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that we have a high level of competence or capability, then give me a thumbs down. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. We got 29 people watching, and we got 45 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 60, that would be great. Okay. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick says, there is. I remember seeing this piece on being immortal, and it basically was saying your brain doesn't have the storage capacity. Here's the problem. No one knows anybody that's immortal to study that. And nobody knows if your lifespan is contingent on, quote unquote, your brain's capacity. So whoever made that assumption, that's all it is an assumption based on another assumption. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's a question for everybody. What would your brain capacity or your intelligence, what would that have to do with your ability to live for an extended amount of time, i.e., like eternal? How would that affect that? Think about a computer. A computer can have full memory. Like the entire hard drive can be used, and you can still use a computer, and it won't just stop working because the CPU ain't working. You know what I'm saying? We don't use all of our brains either. That's what the whole premise of the movie Lucy was about. Some of those statistics that they gave in that movie Lucy are true. We don't use all of our capabilities. And also, as children, most children are not trained with enough stimulation to maximize the amount of neurosynapses that a child would have that would give you, as you would say, quote unquote, more brain capacity. But your brain technically doesn't have a maximum capacity because of neuroplasticity. Nervous cells can repair and grow, which means that they can adjust. Yeah, shout out to Cameron. Your organs, metabolism, and lack of calcification to the arteries can do that. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a start, and that's definitely accurate. Now, shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, I see, but it also said you could live, but you won't remember your past as time goes on. Well, why wouldn't you? And how do they know that? What are they basing that on? And who are these people? What is their model that proves that assumption or that substantiates that theory? We got people that are cognitively impaired right now that have better memories than people that don't, that are not cognitively impaired. You know what I'm saying? We got people that's autistic that have like photographic memories, and people that's not autistic that can't even remember a phone number. Now, when I say that increased intelligence will help people live, what I mean is collective intelligence contributing towards technologies that make life more efficient and healthy. So biologically, you will have less consequences, more healthy food, supplements, different things like that. I'm not saying directly your brain power will make you yourself live longer. I'm saying that the collective of humanity with the body of knowledge that accrues theoretically should, just like how we used to have horseback, now we got cars, that type of thing should occur, and it should increase the average lifespan of a human life. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says, why would these billionaires invest so much money into eternal life? Maybe they know something we don't know after we expire here. Or maybe they don't. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, hey, I didn't come up with the piece. I'm curious. I want to know who did. I want to ask him some questions. And the reason why I want to ask questions is because, like, a lot of times people would just say this kind of stuff, and it's like, I hear you saying it, but like, it kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of just saying stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where are you getting that from? You know what I mean? Like, people would just write all this stuff, and it's like, okay, are you a neurosurgeon or are you a neurologist? Or nah, you know, I just, you know, I read a few poems in my time. It's like, okay, bro. Okay. So now here it says, I think that we are headed towards a hybrid future. Satoy told Popular Mechanics. We still believe that we are the only beings with a high level of consciousness. So again, this right here, this is another example of people don't believe what they say they believe. Now, most people claim that they believe in God, but somehow you believe in God, but you believe that you're the only person with a higher consciousness. That doesn't make sense. But then if I question these things, something's wrong with me. How dare you question any of these things? I'm questioning you because you don't believe what you say that you believe. You're the one that said that you believe in God and God is all knowing. But then in this instance right here, you will sit there and say, we're the only beings with a high level of consciousness. Well, which one is it? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron says a computer has limited storage despite ability to perform trillions of calculations. You will be forced to delete memories and experiences eventually or use a secondary storage device. Yeah, for a computer. Now, the difference between us and a computer is that we have cells that grow and we have cells that can create collateral networks. Computers, the current kind of computers that we work with, don't. You know what I'm saying? The current kind of computers that we work with don't. That's not to say that that ability might not develop in the future, but the current kind of computers that we work with don't. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says this is part of the whole Copernican journey that we are not unique. We are not at the center. And like the thing is that's that right there. That's kind of a thing that you really only got to enforce that and tell that to white people. You know what I'm saying? You really only got to like tell that to them. You really don't have to tell other people that. Oh yeah. Speaking on merging the brains with tech, yeah, no. We are, but I was talking in regards to what Patrick was saying about the limitations on eternal life based on brain capacity. That's what I was talking about. So I think, you know what I'm saying, things kind of, you know what I'm saying, we might have been overlapping. So now here it says, of course, this brave new world of a hybrid AI existence brings with it a plethora of issues, both political and personal. What will humans do for jobs? Well, we all know, right? This is where the universal basic income comes into play. How many people would agree that this is where the universal basic income comes into play? If you guys would agree that that's what that is, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree and don't think that that's what that is, then give me a thumbs down. What do you guys think? Could we possibly live forever? What do you guys think? Is forever forever? I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I would just say, I don't know. We could probably live longer. Would that change the very idea of what it means to be human? I don't know if we even have an actual idea of what it means to be human. Let me ask you guys, what is you guys' definition of what does it mean to be human? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron says your memories will be in the cloud. And if you don't pay your subscription, you will get ads or get cut out by a paywall. Yo, you know what's crazy? That's actually a possibility. That's one of the reasons why it's so, to me, it's so important, man. People should really like play the memory games and do crossword puzzles and play Sudoku and stuff like that. Constantly keep your brain in a state of learning. You know, like me personally, like I never went through that stage of where people are like, you can't learn anymore. After a certain age, you can't learn anymore. And the reason why is because like I constantly like try to learn stuff. Some people just don't. Like they just get into a routine and like that's just it. Like I'm just in this routine and boom, that's just it. I ain't doing nothing else. Then they'd be like, well, I can't learn anything. Well, you kind of just atrophied your brain. You crippled yourself. You you broke your own leg and then you want somebody to help you limp. Nobody doing that. Instead of creating a learning curve with many people got a learning ramp. Look, I hate to say this. Look at how we rock politically. That's a learning ramp. Like it's just going down. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said Ninja's gonna be walking around like James Howlett, aka Wolverine, old ass. Right. Simping, just like Wolverine do too, because Wolverine is an epic simp. You're gonna be sitting around, walking around like Wolverine. You're gonna be sentenced to a life of walking around old and depressed like Wolverine and getting roasted by suspect mercenaries like Deadpool. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a suspect mercenary just making your life living hell as you walking around an elderly person with the body of a 30-year-old in its physical prime. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Kurzweil, like many other futurists, are relatively optimistic on this front. In that same interview with The Guardian, Kurzweil highlights the idea of a universal basic income as a necessity rather than a fringe idea currently supported in more progressive circles. And AI will bring unprecedented advancements in medication, meaning the idea of immortality isn't out of the realm of possibility. So now I didn't say immortality because there's a lot of clerical issues with immortality. I just said, a longer lifespan, right? But for the most part, his idea is in line with mine. His idea is in line with mine, okay? In the early 2030s, we can expect to reach longevity, escape velocity, where every year of life we lose through aging, we get back from scientific process. You see this? This is exactly what I said. And I didn't read this article before now. I'm dead serious. And this is what I'm saying about how if you are 0 to 50 years old right now, you are living in a time span where your life, there could be a 150 to 250 year extension onto your life, just boom, out of the clear blue sky, like within the next 10 to 15 years. This is real. I'm not making this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And like, what's cool? Let me ask you guys, who's talking about this kind of stuff? Where's anybody talking about this at? Like, this is what I'm saying about how, like, just how de-evolved and unadvanced people are. Like, these kind of things are literally right around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look at the stupid conversations that somebody will rope you into later on today. You know what I'm saying? Just dumb stuff. Dumb, stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like, you'll be able to, and when these world events start to happen, all of this stuff that everybody told you was sage knowledge that you need to know, none of that stuff will be necessary. You'll need a whole new set of knowledge, You'll have to deal with a whole new set of problems. You'll be completely unprepared, set up for failure. Shout out to Carlton. Wait, they're not speaking about this on Twitter Spaces. Facts. They believe that it don't affect them until it does. Then somebody want a life raft, a life jacket thrown out. You ain't getting no life raft. You ain't getting no life jacket. You know what I'm saying? So now, these are what we need to be doing, right? We need to be scanning the environment for products, and we need to be trying to develop products. This is one of the reasons we got to get resources, man. Imagine if we get some of these resources, we get some AI, and AI gives us a formula. We got some type, like, this is what I was talking about in the chat, in the Discord, about the fountain of youth. I'm telling you guys, there is a type of water, low density, high alkaline electrolyte water. I guarantee you is fountain of youth water. I believe 100% certainty that fountain of youth water exists. I believe it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that artificial intelligence, if you ask me, will be able to reverse engineer scenarios to give us the highest likelihood state and formula of the water that was being described with the fountain of youth stories. That in itself could be something that extends your life for an extended period of time. Right? Now, imagine if we are the people that start that business. We've just entered and taken over a market. But people aren't thinking in terms of that. People aren't thinking in terms of that. People are thinking simple, dumb stuff, man. Just wasting their time with marbles and lint and mothballs rolling around in their heads. The de-evolved nature, man, is just utterly unbearable to watch. I don't think those kind of people deserve anything. Do you guys? The only thing that I think that those people deserve is those people deserve to be watched for entertainment when the future comes and they're struggling for their survival, like some Hunger Games type stuff. That's what they deserve, if you ask me. Because you're making choices right now that'll put you in those situations in the future. And then somehow in the future, your choices that you made right now, the future is supposed to fix for you when you could have been working on fixing those choices right now. That's not how that shit works. People talk about truth and justice to me. That's not truth and justice to me. Is that truth and justice to you guys? I don't think that's truth and justice. I think that's BS, is what I think that is. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, and as we move past that, we'll actually get more years back. It isn't a solid guarantee of living forever. There are still accidents, but your probability of dying won't increase year to year. Just like back to the... So if you take care of yourself now, eat good now, keep yourself healthy now, take really good care of yourself, right? Maximize your youthful potential as much as you can right now. Once these technological advancements hit, you will be able to preserve whatever you've been able to maintain for an extended duration of time. Like, that's amazing. That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you guys this question. Who out there is trying to be a wolf? Who out there is trying to be somebody that's aggressively on top of this to try to get early entry and early control into these type of markets? Yeah, shout out to Carlton. Super Soldier Serum in real life. But 25 years ago, Kurzweil predicted we'd be rapidly approaching a major moment in humans' technological history at the tail end of this decade. Currently, no evidence suggests the contrary. I would say that I wouldn't say that that's true. I would say that there's plenty of evidence that supports this. Seriously? What do you guys think? I would say that there's actually a lot of evidence that supports this. We see evidence of this kind of stuff all the time. Now, I want y'all to take a look at this real quick. Let's see something. Probably ain't gonna have time to read this. But we will read this tomorrow, because what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna do some more of this. We're gonna do some more of this tomorrow. Look at this. What happens when scientists put a human intelligence gene into a monkey? I don't know. Did you not see the movie Planet of the Apes? I don't know. Maybe you get Caesar. Maybe Caesar gets mad. Why would you put intelligence? Why would you put human intelligence into a monkey? A monkey ain't no damn human. Why would you put human intelligence into a monkey is the same level of question as why would you put cow milk into a human throat? Why would you do it? How many things come about like in the world as a result of quote unquote, why would you do it actions? You know what I'm saying? Like just why would you do it? Why would you do that? Just, you know what I'm saying? Like just all kinds of stuff. You just sit back and ask yourself, like, yo, why would you do that? And just nobody says anything. They just, we're just gonna do it. It doesn't make any sense. It don't have to make no damn sense. These people crazy. Shout out to Mike. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron said that movie was dumb. The apes created no technology. Yeah. But one technology that they did create that was all they needed was how to contain humans. Shout out to DC Precise. DC Precise says, you kill me with the milk every time, bro, because it's the same as the Kamala Harris and the collard greens question. Like, this is relevant. What was somebody doing when they discovered milk? What were you doing to make a cow squirt on you? And then you turned around and drank it. Where is that normal? What were you trying to figure out while that was going on? What was the T-1 and T-2 there? I think somebody should testify in a court of law about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not normal. It's not normal. Like in a lab, you kind of do experiments. Like you got a control group and an experimental group, and you take notes, right? Why was somebody using a cow tit like a faucet? What scenario would anybody be doing that in? Other than something that's degenerate. That, speaking of the Bible, shout out to the Bible, some lightning would have just came down and just took you out the game if you was doing that in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Queen, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Definitely appreciate it, Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to Vega. Vega said that's weird. It is weird. I've been trying to tell people it's weird my entire life, and they just don't get it. It's weird. You want a glass of milk? No. Why do you want one? No, I don't want a glass of milk. There's all this disgusting stuff in milk. It's animal body fluids. I don't drink animal body fluids. I don't do that. Do you? Oh, I mean, it's milk. It's animal body fluids, dude. It's body fluids. You know what I'm saying? This is fluids that came out of the body of an animal with all kind of weird chunks floating around in it. You know what I'm saying? Hell no, I'm not drinking that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Vega. Vega says, do you eat cheese? I try to reduce the amount of cheese that I eat. I try to reduce it. Some things you just can't. You got to have a little bit of cheese on it. It's just because, you know what I'm saying? But like, I try to reduce it because then I start thinking about what it is, and that just my lunch starts coming back up. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was wrestling with a cow. Somehow the cow tit got into somebody's mouth. They got squirted on, and then they tasted it, and they said this would be a product that's great for people to a great product for people to buy. What? Let's mass produce this for all of humanity. This is a gift. Really? Oh, okay. Shout out to Vega. Vega says, sometimes I think about things when I'm eating meat and I lose my appetite. Yeah. I lose my appetite a lot, especially if I start thinking. I try not to think. That's why, like, it's not really bad that they, you know what I'm saying, that they decriminalized and legalized marijuana in a lot of different places. That, because sometimes that helps people eat, especially people that have a mind that races all the time. That it can help people eat. Shout out to Leonard. Leonard said one of them pink folks was raised with the cattle. They got a little bit too close to the cattle. A little bit too close to the cattle. Like I said, no one will ever explain that or rationalize that either. Yo, how did milk get discovered? What was somebody doing when they figured that out? Then they say there's a lot of nasty stuff in milk. Like they had these particles in there called somatic cells. It's white blood cells. It's disgusting. Anybody that knows what milk is knows it's disgusting. There's this white protein in there that's called albumin. It's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? That's the protein that when you denature it, it turns white. In eggs, when you boil eggs, that's the clear part that turns white. The albumin becomes denatured. It's disgusting. It's nasty. You know what I'm saying? It's sick. Then there's lactase in it. Lactase is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Then there's somatic cells. Somatic cells are like just white blood cells. You know what white blood cells are? They're pus. They're pus. So, you know, milk, you know what I'm saying? A certain percentage of milk is, you know what I'm saying, like popped pimples. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. Shout out to Mr. King. Mr. King said used to drink milk. Stopped years ago. They had the silly commercials. Milk, it does a body good. No, how? How does it do a body good? Listen, let me ask you guys this question. Human to human, right? You can't just give anybody a blood transfusion. You can get like blood transfusion rejection. They got this thing called graft versus host disease that can happen. You know what I'm saying? Your blood can attack the blood that's being transfused, or the transfused blood can attack your blood. Right now, mind you, this is from human to human. Anybody that's ever had kids, if you know what I'm saying, if the mother of your kids, your wife or whoever, breastfed your kids in the hospital, they have to type and cross match the breast milk and store it in a special refrigerator. Because if they give that breast milk to another baby, it can cause not only an allergic reaction, but it can also attack the baby. The breast milk, if it's not from the right mom. How is it that you can drink milk from a damn cow and we can't even drink milk from human to human? Think about that. If you go to the hospital and your baby drinks milk from the wrong mother, the baby got to get a Benadryl shot. You know what I'm saying? They got to get monitored for allergic reactions, for an immune reaction. But cows are not even primates. Like, it's not even a primate. It's not even like a monkey. It's not even like a gorilla, a chimpanzee. A cow is not even a primate. And somehow they selling cow milk. That don't even make no damn sense. How do we know that people have not had like allergic reactions and stuff like that from cow milk? How do we know that like all these inflammatory diseases that people got, it's not like immune system reactions from drinking all kinds of body fluids that don't have our antigens on them? How do we know that? Shout out to Cassie. Yeah, even the O blood can still have antigens on it. Like we always talk about the Rh negative antigen, right? So even if you have O blood, and if I'm not mistaken, I think O is the universal blood donor, that O blood could still have certain antigens on it. And if those antigens aren't compatible with the blood that they're trying to get, it'd still be useless. You know what I'm saying? If you got O negative, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that might not be compatible with somebody's blood depending on the antigen. All these children's stories are morbid. These children's stories are about reality and they're written in code. You know what I'm saying? The Jack and the Beanstalk Nephilim story. You know what I'm saying? Row, row, row your boat. All of it. They all occult tales of people passing down some type of sacred knowledge to a kid that's hidden in the form of a poem. You know, a lot of times these rich people would teach their kids like some type of silly story or like some type of color combination. And what ends up happening is that color combination to unlock a safe somewhere or something like that. And it's, you know what I'm saying, all the money is in it. But that's what them poems are. That's what them fairy tales are. But I tell you one thing, people don't know as much about life and as much about reality as they think they do. Most people don't know too much about anything. And honestly, see, that's a constraint. See, like people, this is what I was saying about constraints earlier. I know a lot of stuff. And a lot of times, I wish I didn't. See, like Cypher had that situation. Cypher being out of the Matrix was a constraint for him because he didn't want to do all that stuff. He didn't want to be part of the Nebuchadnezzar and all that. He didn't want to be part of Zion. He just wanted to live a fake life because it was easier. Sometimes a lot of people just want to live a fake life because it's easier, especially when you had a burden of understanding certain things that it seems to be like an insurmountable challenge for you to be able to change, especially on your own. You know what I'm saying? So then you're like, I wish I didn't know all this stuff. I wish I was just, you know, I just wish I was a rabbit or something like that. Just run out in the middle of the street and not even feel it when I get destroyed by a car. Like, who cares? But my life and my existence, like most of us, it happens to be a little bit more complicated than that. There's a little bit more responsibility bestowed upon you, a little bit more understanding. That comes with a price. That comes with a burden. It's like the burden of perfection. It's like the way people want to be kids again. See, like those angels and demons and artificial intelligence stuff that we was talking about. They look at us. They'd be like, I want to be stupid like that again. I want to be a kid again. I don't want to know. These people don't even know all of the ins and outs of reality. We experience the ins and outs of reality all day, and we can't operate outside of the programming of knowing that. I don't want to know all this stuff. I just want a simple life. I just want to live a fake life. I just want to live a fake life. Because reality is too much. The constraints of capability and the constraints of incapability are a burden to the level-headed person. That's one of the reasons why entertainment exists. So that you can take yourself out of reality. Similar to suicide. When people result, sadly, unfortunately, to suicide, it's because they believe that reality has placed constraints on them. They believe that they're constrained to a certain reality. They feel that it's freeing themselves. That's what they rationalize it as. I'm about to free myself from the constraints of my life because my life has me constrained. I'm a loser. I'm broke. I have no future. I'm drowning in insurmountable debt. Society can't stand me. I'll never be able to afford a house. I'm a horrible parent. I'm on the verge of getting fired. I can barely make my car payment. You know what I'm saying? I'm constrained by my life. My gift of life has become a curse of constraint. When your life, you rationalize your life as a curse of constraint, then you go into that artificial intelligence mode of, well, how do I remove the constraint? Then that's how you come up with suicide. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that somehow people become reduced to that kind of rationalization, to thinking that they have to die to survive. Like that right there is just the ultimate philosophical failure of humanity and human society, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? But that's just if you ask me, and you didn't. So shout out to everybody that contributed, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. If y'all haven't hit that like button yet, do that. Make sure y'all show some love to the stream sponsors. We had 7, and y'all know how it go. Without the stream sponsors, ain't no show. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DC. Shout out to John. Shout out to Patrick. Shout out to John again. Make sure y'all show John some love. John been showing lots of love. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to John again. Shout out to Katsy. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Always holding it down. Definitely appreciate it. Do not move a muscle. Stay here until after the outro music ends. It'll take you into the stream window for tomorrow. Y'all know what to do. Y'all been doing a great job. Hit the bell icon twice in there on the premiere window. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on my knee, that's on TV, that's on mamas. Nigga, don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this light. Hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey, I'm really him. Hold up.